Hello, my name is Philip. I ran the Richmond Half Marathon. It was an awesome time, an awesome weekend, and today I'm going to just break down my thoughts on the overall experience, what I learned from it, and maybe share a couple of tips and tricks along the way for those of you who are into the running trend. For context, I have been running for probably 2 years now or something like that. I played soccer growing up, I still play soccer, but I just felt like running was the thing that after college I wanted to just get back into a sport of some kind with work and life and all the craziness of being a 20-something in DC. I figured why not just start to run more seriously and even do some races down the line. So this past year I've actually done a couple of 10Ks as well as this half marathon, and I feel like the half marathon was really the culmination of a lot of the work I have put in over the year to get ready for this massive race. I came into the half marathon with a goal of running something like a 2:10 or a 2:12, something in that universe if you will, and I figured if I just go out there and run it, I can say I've done it and move on from there. But as I actually built up my training block and actually got ready for the race, it was really 3 months of a ton of growth and progress in my running. I found myself, the more I ran, the faster I got, the more long runs I did, the more workouts I did. I just felt like the confidence was a thing that really built me up to get to the half marathon day, and then the confidence to go in there and run a really strong race for myself, aligned to my goals. And that's kind of one thing that I realized very quickly was it's a very personal thing to go out there and run 13 miles. It is emotionally taxing, it is mentally taxing, it will take everything out of you, and obviously it's not a full marathon, which is probably a whole other beast that I likely may tackle in 2025. At least I want to tackle it, so TBD on that. I guess stay tuned if you will. But yeah, I had a great time running it, and it was just a really amazing personal, real emotional thing. And that was something that I realized is because in those 3 months of training and preparation, you sort of see it as the journey to the race day. So yeah, that's kind of my overall reflections on the process itself. But I want to share a little bit more sort of my advice, or maybe a couple of tips or tricks if you will, on if you're interested at all in running something like a half marathon down the road, or getting into running races in general, because I feel like there's running as a exercise and a thing you can do for fun, and then there's running with actual intent and saying to yourself, I'm going to run a race in 3 months and I'm going to try and hit that goal. And I feel like that's the big part of it, is you want to be prepared and ready to go for it. And that leads me to number one, which is have somewhat of a training plan. You don't need some massive crazy plan that has insane workouts unless you're someone who's already in that realm of running. Good for you. I'm certainly not. For me, it just looked like every day getting the miles in, such that you get used to running more distances, and then by the time you reach race day a few months down the line, you find yourself able to go crack out 5 miles in one big split if you will, and you're able to do it with a lot of confidence and pace and actual rhythm. And that just comes from the daily grind if you will, of every day being out there, being consistent. That's a huge thing that you want to have, and that all starts with having somewhat of a plan going into the race day itself. Number two was actually a big blessing that I got from this experience, which was it's nice to have friends who are also running it with you, partially because you could train with them and get ready with them. I personally didn't really do that, but it was so encouraging for me on race day itself to realize that I have so many friends and people in my life who are also running it with me, and I really enjoyed that nature of community I experienced on that day. I saw people on the course that I ran into who I actually know, and that's just a huge boost to know that as you're preparing for it and as you're looking forward to that day before and as you're getting really amped up for it, to know that other people that you know are also in that grind or in that mode of running the race itself. It's just a very encouraging thing, and I was very uplifted by the fact that I had so many good friends who were doing it alongside with me. So having people to do it with who are also going towards that goal with you, I just really enjoyed that process, and I enjoyed the fact that I got to deepen those friendships in a sense, because we were all suffering together for 90 plus minutes, sometimes more, for other people. So it's certainly a great way to, again, engage yourself in that and motivate yourself, just to have people that are also out there grinding with you and also doing the race with you in tandem. The last reflection I had is really unique to the fact that this was my first ever race for a half marathon, so I'm not some experienced runner who has done this a million times and I'm sharing my wealth of knowledge with you today. I'm really sharing it as still a newbie. I've only run a couple races in the last year, and all of them were during 2024, and I feel like there's this pressure you put on yourself to hit a certain time on the first try and make sure your first race is really strong and sets you up for future success. But in my opinion, I think that's sort of a miscalculation. A lot of people just, I think, go into a race and have this expectation of, it's my first time doing this, so I have to make sure I start on the right foot, no pun intended. But my advice on this is simply to just go run your race, and that's the reflection that I had during the entire 1 hour, 35 minutes, 51 seconds I was out there on the course. Was I'm running my race. I'm running with my strategy plan that I've crafted for myself to go out and hit certain paces, to slow down certain parts, to finish really strong in this area, to make sure I'm thinking about X, Y, and Z factors as I'm going along when it comes to fueling and the things things that you have to think about fueling, when you're going to slow down a bit more, all the things that you had yourself. Those are all things that you yourself have been thinking about for the last few months you've been training. And then on that race day, run your own race. Just make it personal for yourself. Don't try and compare yourself to much other people who are out there who have done it before. If it's your first time racing it, like I was doing, if you're approaching your first race or even considering running some kind of race, just run your race and do your thing. And then afterwards, you can of course reflect and think about where you can improve going forward. But run your own race and don't put too much pressure on yourself to go outperform something or make up a crazy metric for yourself. Just go run it, enjoy the process, and the rest will take care of itself. And I promise it gets fun. I want to run a full marathon in 2025. I'm definitely trying to come back to something like Richmond next fall and run a similar kind of race because it's just so cool to be in that crowd, to be in that massive group of people all going towards the same goal. Everyone was so encouraging. I saw a lot of old college friends. It was just an awesome experience to be a part of it there in Richmond with all those people. And a huge shout out to my sister and my friend Nick, who were with me the entire time that weekend and were able to follow alongside me and update my family and all that stuff, because it's just awesome to have fans in your corner that are also cheering you on. So yeah, with that being said, that's all I have on this video. I wanted to keep it very, very simple tonight and just sort of, again, share my thoughts on the Richmond Half Marathon. I'll probably have another video I'll make that maybe goes into more detail, but there isn't much else I would say about that process. It was an awesome time I had. I encourage anyone watching this video who's considering training for a marathon or a half marathon or even a 10K or a 5K, just do it. It's fun. It's so worth it. I know it's suffering and it's challenging, but I just feel like it was a really worthwhile experience for me personally, and I would not trade that day and that time, not because of some medal or because of some time I hit or some Strava post I get to go post now saying that I did this awesome thing. It really is the things I mentioned before with the training, the community, and then that personal nature of it that I got to be a part of, and that personal sense of accomplishment that I got from it. It's just awesome. It's just energizing and it makes you feel a certain way. And I'm very, very thankful for that process and to get to do what I got to do over that weekend with some awesome people. That's really all I have for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you want to see more running type of content, let me know, but I'm not some elite runner. I want to give a huge shout out as well to channels like Nico Felic, for example, Linda's son, a lot of others who have huge influences, and they're not going to see this anyway, so it doesn't really matter. If they somehow saw this video randomly, miraculously, people like y'all are why I got into running and running races. So thank you all for that, and thank you guys for watching this video and for being so supportive on the last few as well. Again, I'm still new on this journey of doing videos. It's very, very tiring at times, and it can also just be self-consciousness in me that's screaming to not do videos, but I'm gonna keep on the grind and keep doing this, and it's been fun, and running a half marathon is part of the process, if you will. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below if you're interested in anything running. I'm always looking to chat about that or just get your guys' thoughts on these things. But yeah, as always, thank you all for watching. My name is Phil. I will see you next time. Peace.